Hey there, everybody. You're tuned into another segment today. Just Got Real TV with
That's
Chicali
right.
and
Yeah.
Pearl J. And today we're going to be talking about nursing homes in Nevada and abuse. We actually had a whistleblower that brought us in on what was going on in a local facility right here in Reno, Nevada. And when you guys get a chance to see exactly what took place there, it will be mind blowing. There is all kind of signs of abuse. When I say abuse, their bathroom was like the worst condition you could ever see in this care home. The kitchen was filthy, the microwave was filthy. This individual had impaired vision. There was all type of items all over the floor where this person could actually trip on to injure herself. And we're gonna let you guys get an inside peek of the conditions. We visit this facility at least 10 times in the last 90 days, and the conditions never had changed. And so, Chicali, today, what is your opinion when it comes to what is happening with people that is actually sticking their family members in these nursing homes and not being attentive to their family members?
Well, the whole inhumane treatment aspect of it alone infuriates me because we're talking about somebody's grandparents, somebody's parents, people that pay a lot of money to get certain services, to be taken care of. And unfortunately, we're seeing more and more each year that isn't the case. 1 out of 10 elders experience this sort of abuse. 5 million a year, senior citizens are being, impacted by this. And unfortunately, maybe 1 out of 14 complaints only get looked at. So, no, it's not a good thing. It infuriates me. And quite frankly, the fact that it's happening and we're not hearing enough about the consequences in terms of the reaction to those actions is what's upsetting.
Yes.
Because it's getting worse.
Absolutely. And I think that it is so much abuse that the waiting list for adult protective services to actually be attentive to a case, it's probably a long list because they're getting hundreds of thousands of complaints a year from these people that are actually being abused. Some people are broken arms, broken ribs, raped, not being changed, not being fed, being yelled at, being screamed at, told that they don't have time to take care of them in any type of way, and could you just imagine if you had a 78-year-old grandmother that you decided, hey, this care home would be the best place for her, and you placed her there, and to walk in and see her living in feces and trash and garbage and stuff all over the place, and the care providers there in this home was doing nothing to assist her, and you're paying out anywhere from $3,500 to $7,000 a month for these services. How would that make you feel?
Well, there's no excuse, and this is totally uncalled for. The irresponsibility of neglect of these agencies that are charging insurance companies or those who have or are able to afford the $35,000 to $7,000 a month assistance and having to unfortunately go through this hell is mind-boggling. But the other thing that I can't seem to understand, and maybe this is because of whose I am and my culture, I would never put my mom or dad or my grandparents in one of those places. And if people know that there's red flags and those things are happening, I understand. I'm not criticizing. I'm not pointing the finger. But, this is part of a culture in this country where people, as soon as they can't take care of the mom or the dad or the grandparents, that's, the first place they go. And I wouldn't see it happening because in my culture, we don't do that. I couldn't fathom to even think about it. But that's not saying that those that can't take care of their loved ones and need to do that is wrong. The fact that it's happening and, sometimes you complain and you go through the right channels and you still can't get anything in return in respects to the attention necessary for the problem. It would possibly make me become a different man, maybe take, matters into my own hands. Because I don't need to see proof or the video that they've got from this whistleblower that brought you the information. I've seen videos, documentaries on how some of these caretakers and agencies treat the elderly. And I tell you what, man, it's not right. And it shouldn't be happening.
Well, in some instances, you know, family members don't always want to put their family in nursing homes, but sometimes the responsibility can become overwhelming, especially if they happen to be fed by tubes, if they're constantly need to be changed, they need 24-hour care. You have a family of your own, which your, you know, mother or grandmother is definitely your family. But if you have several kids that you're raising on your own and you're a single parent, sometimes it makes it very difficult to be attentive to a relative once they become in that type of condition, especially suffering from things like dementia, you know, with anger, you know, issues and problems. But nevertheless, there is no excuse for, no matter what health condition, you know, comes upon an individual, there's no excuse for them to be neglected, for them to go unchanged, not be able to ask for a glass of water if they need it, to be getting slammed up against walls and stuff, you know, not being fed, all kind of different things that I know for a fact that has happened in these nursing homes and facilities. Long-term care, rehabilitations, the whole 9 years. Some of them are even being drugged, over-drugged, because they rather for them to sleep than them have to be attentive to them. So I actually would like to share an experience where I had a brother that, in order for, my brother was stabbed 27 times. And in order for him to come home, I had to stay at the hospital for an entire month. 2 weeks of the time that I spent at the hospital was for them to train me how to take care of my brother, by watching them take care of my brother. And I slept right there on the floor, and you know, just because I was afraid to leave him, first of all. Okay, and so the second 2 weeks, I had to be able to show the hospital that was in Sacramento, California. I had to be able to show UC Davis Medical Center that I was able to perform the same type of duties and responsibilities that they are trained to do. And I was a certified nurse at the time, and so I was able to do that. And it came to a point to where my family actually felt as though that I was getting too emotionally involved with what was going on with my brother, that I needed to let him go into a long-term skilled nursing facility so they could work with him and take care of him. I tried to fight, but I was outvoted with my family. They thought, this is just too much. You're biting off more than you can chew. He's in bad shape. He needs to be in a nursing home. I fought it. I said, if you send him to a nursing home, he's gonna die. My brother wasn't there not even 3 weeks, and they were not watching him, and the track fell out of his throat, and he passed in the nursing home because of that.
Sorry to hear that.
So I'm not saying that the nursing home did it on purpose, but I'm saying if they had been taking care of him and had some type of, you know, indicator to let them know, hey, he's not breathing, hey, you know, his blood pressure is dropping, his breathing is not right, I'm sure that would not have happened if they're checking on these people the way that they're supposed to. I was very angry about that experience that I dealt with my brother. I gotta share with you, the lawyer that was fighting my brother's case actually shared with me, he said, if we say that it's the nursing home's fault, then the person that actually stabbed your brother 27 times in his heart and, you know, in his chest and neck and everywhere else, they said, if we say the nursing home did it, then we have to drop the charges against the other guy. So I couldn't file a lawsuit or anything against the home that actually neglected my brother, but he actually died behind neglect from the nursing home.
Well, a couple of points that you touched on that are important to me, at least. When you put it that way, and a loved one, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor. We want the best care for them. But that's why we have insurance, so that's why they have money, and the services that exist are supposed to do a well job, ethically, morally, to provide that. And so, you know, that's different, because I don't have the tools or maybe the knowledge to help someone who's that sick. But by the same token, if we have family members or someone we care about, doesn't necessarily need to be blood. It helps when you are stopping by to visit and checking out things, and letting the facility know that this person is not alone, that there's loved ones that come in and out to check up on them. Mm-hmm. And I think that in itself, not saying that people don't do it, but that in itself keeps certain people on their toes. Mm-hmm. My brother, my brother-in-law, unfortunately got put in a situation, and I know he was in tears, and we weren't direct family, but we're nevertheless family. And mom went into a nursing home, mm-hmm. Dementia. Mm-hmm. And she was actually, sick enough to where she needed all these medications, where she could only get them in this particular place. But I tell you what, man, my sister and, her support system, we were constantly there 2 to 3 times a week to check up on her condition. And even though she sometimes couldn't remember who we are, you can tell a lot by looking at a person, mm-hmm. Either the bruises or how they're acting, or, and you can go from there, because there's no law against asking questions. And obviously if the person who's there is getting worse and not better, you got every right. To worry and investigate and see what's going on. And unfortunately though, and I know for a fact, because I know people that I met when I was younger that are now in nursing homes, and I wonder where their family or where their kids are at. And that just touches me. It breaks my heart, because I'm just a friend, and I'm there because I want to show support and I care for them, but I'm not a loved one. And sometimes I tell you what, man, they're just, it's sad, because not only are they going through dialysis, let's say, and they're 75, 80 years old, but they have maybe given up on themselves because mm-hmm. the love is no longer around them. Mm-hmm. And I see how slowly they begin to deteriorate. Mm-hmm. And I think that because maybe, and I'm not saying all nurse homes or people are like this, but when people know that those individuals are alone, it makes it easier mm-hmm. maybe for them to become, predators mm-hmm. and hit those elderly just because they need a medicine, or they're moaning, or they can't control, how they feel, mm-hmm. Or they're not taking their medication right. And mm-hmm. it's just awful, the things that they do, the kind of abuse that's existing in these homes. Absolutely.
And I can tap in with you guys on a personal experience that I actually endured myself. I was in a very, very bad incident. I'm not going to go into all the details, but I was in a very, very bad incident, and I had to be placed in a high skill nursing facility. Mm. While I was there, this facility was also located in Reno, actually Spanish Springs. Mm. While I was there, I was overdrugged. And I have witnesses to that. They would not let family or friends contact me. My daughter ended up calling me one day. I actually woke up from being overdrugged and caught one of the staff with my cell phone, and I said, "What are you doing?" She was like, "I was gonna go charge it up for you." I said, "I don't need you to charge my phone up," and she put it back down immediately. I picked up the phone and I called my daughter, and I'm not kidding you. Wow. This is a true story. I called my daughter and I told her, I said, "Hey, you know what?" I said, "You need to come and get me. Come and get me." And so she came up from Sacramento, and she walked into the nursing home. I'll never forget. I was lying in the bed, and she says, "I'm signing you out of here." And so she went to talk to the nurse, and the nurse told her, "Oh, she can't go anywhere. She has to get approval from a doctor." My daughter says, "She's going right now with me. I'm taking my mom out of here." Have you ever seen the movie called Lady Sings the Blues?
I have not, but I've heard of it.
Okay.
That's on my bucket list.
Well, that was the condition I was in this skilled nursing facility when my daughter found me. And she did walk me out of there. And had it not been for my daughter, I don't think I would even be alive right now to talk about it. And I'm just being honest with you.
Thank God.
So, you're tuned in to Just Got Real TV with Pearl J and Chicali, and we're going to go to a break and come right back. Okay, and we are back to Just Got Real TV with Chicali and Pearl J. And we're talking today about elderly abuse in long-term care facilities and nursing homes. Chicali has the floor.
Hey, thank you. Well, I appreciate the audience, and thank you so much, Pearl, for bringing this important topic to the table. It needs to be had, and I'm glad that we're addressing it. And hopefully we can continue more on this topic, because it's really an important one, especially for those who are being abused and have no one that can be represented or have voices to assist them in those abuses. We have some key facts here that I would like to share with our audience, if it's okay. And they're sad statistics, but this is up to date. According to the national statistics, around 1 in 6 people over 60 years and older experienced some form of abuse in community settings during the past year. And like I mentioned earlier, 1 in every 10 get not only assaulted but hurt. 5 million of them every year. That's a lot if you stop and think about it. And the rates of abuse of older people are high in institutions such as nursing homes. Isn't this ironic? A place where you would think it's not only professional, but for a fact that you are leaving your loved ones in good care. These are professional environments. So this is happening in nursing homes, care facilities, and with 2 in 3 staff reporting that they have committed abuse in the past year.
Could you imagine admitting that, hey, I just beat up somebody's grandmother? And could you imagine even just getting the call saying, hey, one of our staff just beat the crap out of your grandmother and she's in the hospital in critical condition, and the guilt that you have on your heart and shoulders that you are actually the one who picked out this facility, you know what I'm saying, investigated this facility as being a safe place to leave your loved one at, and now because of where you thought was a professional environment and a safe environment and a well-trained environment, your loved one is now on their deathbed.
The sad thing about all this too is that when we had the pandemic, I know for a fact that this sort of abuse during COVID, when people had to be isolated and being treated, this, instead of being something that I think all of us should have paid more attention to assist those that were alone or didn't have the support they needed in certain homes to overcome this nasty pandemic that killed so many people. Unfortunately, this situation that we're talking about, this topic rose. It was more severe then.
Absolutely.
And then when you consider that, we're talking about suffering, we're talking about pain, we're talking about violence, not just psychologically, but physically. And then you get into
rape.
Wow. Come on now. Yeah. The abuse, right? The sexual abuse.
Yeah, like some of the elders that have been like in bad situations in facilities, in comas and stuff, they're, all of a sudden they come up 6 months pregnant. They're trying to figure out how this person's been in a coma for 6 months. How is this person now pregnant? Because of the abuse. And like I said, I'm not trying to say every person is that way or every nursing facility, but it does exist. And if you're not going at least 2 to 3 times a week, checking on your family member, to see if they're okay, to see if they're being taken care of correctly, and being passive and understanding, and shame on you, because sometimes
I like that, Ms. Pearl. Shame on you. Go ahead and be mom. Shame on you. No, exactly. And it needs to be called out. It is what it is. And so many people that are suffering through this, and sometimes they want to play ignorant, or they feel like they don't know what to do if they presume that something like this is happening. Don't assume. Ask the right questions. Get help. You have a hotline number that you're going to be offering to people in case they don't know what to do, and reaching out and asking professionals what you feel, what you think, or what you think you need to do to look into a matter such as this, is very important. But they're already being neglected by so-called professionals that are impact them and hurting them in a negative way. Loved ones shouldn't be neglecting them too. Yeah. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, so we're going to go inside of one of the residents that actually stayed in a local facility here in Reno, and you guys are going to get a chance to see an inside peek of the conditions that we found. We're going to go into a local facility right here in Reno, Nevada, where you guys can actually take an inside peek of actually what was happening and going on in this facility. When you see the conditions that one of these individuals that we were following very closely, again from a whistleblower, you guys are going to be like, oh my God, when you see these conditions. So in just a few moments, you're going to get an inside peek.
Take a look inside of this facility of Unit B123. Yes, B123. When we entered this unit, it was horrible. It consists of nasty toilets, nasty showers, trash and garbage and clothing and garbage pans and stuff all over the kitchen floor, all over the bathroom floor. The refrigerator had not been cleaned. Nasty. The countertop trash has not been taken out. The bedroom area full of trash, garbage, and debris all over the place. Clothing all over the floor. Holes in the bedroom doors. Trip items all over the floor. The living room was just an awful mess. Drawers all over the place. Again, just look at the trash and the garbage. This is a 67-year-old sight impaired elderly woman depending on the care of this care facility. Shame on you. And this is the care that they get on this facility. Shame on you. Shame, shame, shame on you. Please let us know your thoughts and comments. Please share and hit the like button.
Back on Just Got Real TV with Pearl J and Chicali facility. We'd like to hear from you, so please let us know in the comments what you think. But I want to leave you with this. If you care enough to put your family member in a nursing facility, care enough to check on them while they're there. Because if you don't, it might be the last time that you have that opportunity. And again, we want to both emphasize all nursing facilities aren't bad places, but I truly feel if you've got several reports that people are being abused in certain facilities, Senior Protective Services should shut these facilities down. The whole staff, everybody that's involved, that knew about it, that it was allowing it to happen, and carry on, all these people should be fired. There should not be no patting on the back, patting on the hand when this type of stuff is happening to your loved ones.
Abuse, neglect, exploitation of any matter shouldn't be tolerated or allowed. It's simply not acceptable. And before you have to make those tough choices with the loved one, do your homework. And as Ms. Pro said, when unfortunately, if there's no other route and they have to go to a senior home, follow up on them, visit them. Let those organizations know that they're not alone.
And know that there is resources. You can call Senior Protective Services and have a caseworker be assigned to a case. Even if you witness somebody else's family member, or you're walking through a facility and you see something that just don't feel right, don't be afraid to stand up and do something about it. You know what I mean? Just put yourself in that other family situation. Maybe it might just be a case where that person had an only child and they don't have anybody to come and check on them. That child could be already deceased. The husband is already gone, sisters, brothers, siblings, because of their age, they're already deceased, and that's the last member of the family standing. And this particular facility knows that, so they know no one is coming to check. So let's look out for our elders. We need to look out for our elders, in every possible way, and if you can help it in any way, don't place your family member into a nursing home.
But Adult Protective Services is a good place to start. And whether you're a senior or not, and unfortunately can't take care of yourself anymore, anyone between the ages of 18 and 59, I would assume, if they're disabled, they can no longer take care of themselves. And we have to make sure, I think that it's our responsibility to continue to nurture some of those folks and make sure that they get the attention necessary and the services that are required for them to continue to hopefully live a longer life, a healthier life.
And I want to also add, you guys remember, we are all in line. We are all in line. It's just a matter of time.
Hello.
You know what I mean? Before you reach that number. I mean,
Yes.
you know, and if you reach that number, you reach 77, 78, or 80, or whatever the case may be, that'll be a blessing, because a lot of us is checking out at 18, 19, and 20 years old. So if you reach that age, you know what I mean? Man, that's a blessing within itself. But you can rest for sure, you're going to be in line to be in that same type of situation. And you're going to need some help. And so, you know, get your God points by looking out for the elders. That's my message.
We want to thank all of you out there who have supported Just Got Real TV. Our numbers are growing and we appreciate you. Thank you so much for the feedback in the comments. We are expecting for you to continue to support us, and we will be here next week, same time, same channel. So please hit our like button and give us comments if you like. And we like for you to know that we're very grateful for that support.